Commander Hana Park stepped carefully through the tall blue grass of planet Naraxis. The three suns cast strange shadows over the ancient stone ruins ahead. She checked her oxygen levels. Safe. But the air had a sweet smell that made her slightly dizzy. "Base camp, this is Commander Park. I'm approaching the temple structure now," she said into her wrist communicator. "Copy that, Commander. Remember, observation only," replied Dr. Lee, her mission director. Hana smiled slightly. After 5 years of space exploration, she knew the rules well. The Interstellar Research Division had strict policies about interfering with alien civilizations. The Vraxians had been studied from afar for decades, but this was the first close research mission to their abandoned religious sites. The stone temple rose 30 meters high, covered in spiraling symbols that seemed to shift in the changing light. Moss-like growth in deep purple colors spread across the lower walls. Hana ran her scanner over the entrance. The device beeped softly, confirming no immediate dangers. "Structure is at least 5,000 years old," she noted, speaking into her recorder. "Signs of regular use until approximately 300 years ago. Reason for abandonment unknown." She stepped inside. The air grew cooler as she moved deeper into the temple. Her boots echoed against the stone floor. The main chamber opened up before her, a circular room with a high ceiling where light filtered through small openings. Dust particles danced in the light beams. Hana was recording the wall carvings when she heard it, a soft sound almost like whimpering. She froze, listening carefully. There it was again. "Base camp, I may have detected signs of small animals in the structure," she said. "Proceed with caution, Commander," Dr. Lee responded. "Remember, even small life forms are covered by non-interference protocols." The sound came from below. Hana followed it to a narrow staircase hidden behind a fallen column. Her light revealed steps descending steeply into darkness. Against her better judgment, she began to climb down. The stairs ended in a small chamber. The walls glowed with faint blue symbols, providing just enough light to see. In the center stood a stone altar, and chained to it was a small figure. Hana gasped. The creature looked like the Vraxians from their research files, slender with bluish skin and delicate tendrils on the head instead of hair. But this was just a child, perhaps the equivalent of a human 8-year-old. The young Vraxian girl looked up with large, frightened eyes. "Hello," Hana said softly, knowing her translator would convert her words. "I won't hurt you." The girl trembled, pulling against the chains that bound her wrists to the altar. Around her, strange objects were arranged in a pattern: crystals, dried plants, and small containers holding dark liquids. Hana scanned the room quickly. The symbols on the wall showed figures offering something to a dark shape. Other images showed destruction, planets breaking apart, stars exploding. A ritual, she realized. The girl was part of some kind of ritual. "Base camp, we have a situation," Hana said urgently. "There's a juvenile Vraxian restrained in what appears to be a ritual chamber. Commander, maintain non-interference. This could be part of their cultural practices," Dr. Lee responded, his voice tense. "Cultural practice?" Hana whispered in disbelief. The girl looked starved and terrified. "She's been abandoned here. There are no adult Vraxians present, and based on the dust levels, no one has been here for days." The girl made a soft chirping sound, her large eyes fixed on Hana's water container. "She's dehydrated," Hana said, more to herself than the comm. She approached slowly, showing the water. The girl watched with desperate hope as Hana brought the container to her lips. After drinking deeply, the young Vraxian spoke. The translator needed a moment before converting. "Please, help. The dark ones come when stars align." Hana looked at the wall symbols again. They seemed to show a specific star arrangement, one that her ship's computer had indicated would happen tonight. "Dr. Lee, I believe this child has been left as a sacrifice in some kind of ritual scheduled for tonight. I cannot in good conscience leave her here." "Commander Park, the directive is absolutely clear. The directive applies to functioning societies. This child has been abandoned. For all we know, these practices were outlawed by modern Vraxians. I'm bringing her out. Hana examined the chains. Simple metal, easily broken with her equipment. As she worked on freeing the girl, she spoke softly. I'm going to call you Tay. Where I come from, it means blessing. Can you tell me what happened? To you? The girl's voice was weak through the translator. Elders said I was chosen. Special. Will open the door between worlds. Then they left me to the darkness. The final chain broke free. Tay nearly collapsed, but Hana caught her. You're safe now, Hana said, lifting the small girl into her arms. I've got you. As they turned to leave, the temple suddenly trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Commander, we're detecting seismic activity near your location. Dr. Lee's voice crackled with static. Not seismic, Tay whispered, her tendrils curling in fear. They know I'm free. The Guardians wake when ritual is broken. The walls around them began to glow brighter. From recesses Hana hadn't noticed before, tall stone figures started to move. Their eyes opened, revealing glowing crystals inside. Run, Tay whispered. Temple Guardians will not let Chosen One leave. The stone steps shook as Hana carried Tay upward. Behind them, the heavy footfalls of the Temple Guardians grew louder. Bits of ceiling crashed down, forcing Hana to dodge as she ran. Hold tight, Hana told the small alien girl in her arms. Tay gripped Hana's suit with surprising strength, her thin blue fingers finding holds in the fabric. They burst into the main chamber of the temple, just as the first guardian emerged from the stairwell. It stood 3 meters tall, made of the same stone as the temple itself. Its eyes glowed with bright blue light and strange symbols on its chest pulsed with energy. Commander Park, what's happening? Dr. Lee's voice crackled through the comm unit. No time, Hana shouted, running for the temple entrance. Prepare the shuttle for immediate extraction. The sunlight outside momentarily blinded her after the darkness below. Hana squinted and kept running toward the clearing where her small exploration shuttle waited. Behind her, the temple walls cracked as the Guardians forced their way through the narrow doorway. They will not stop, Tay whispered, her voice weak. Not until I am back on the altar. Hana reached the shuttle and slammed her hand on the entry panel. The door slid open too slowly for her liking. She jumped inside, placing Tay on the passenger seat. Strap in, she ordered, sliding into the pilot's chair. Her fingers flew over the controls as the engines hummed to life. Through the viewport, she watched the Stone Guardians approach. There were 5 of them now, moving with purpose across the blue grass. The ground trembled with each step. The shuttle lifted off just as the first Guardian reached for them. Stone fingers scraped against the hull as they shot into the sky. Commander Park. Dr. Lee's voice was angry now. You've violated at least 7 protocols. Return to the surface immediately. Hana looked at Tay, who sat shivering in the oversized seat. With respect, sir, that's not happening. Prepare medical bay for our arrival. She switched off the comm and set course for the research ship orbiting Neuraxis. Only then did she take a proper look at her passenger. Tay was small even for a Vraxian child. Her skin was pale blue with faint markings that might have been beautiful if they weren't marred by bruises and cuts. The tendrils on her head, 6 in total, moved slightly as if feeling the air around them. Her large eyes were deep purple, with no visible pupils. Are you hurt? Hana asked gently. Tay looked down at herself as if considering the question. This body is damaged but will heal, she said through the translator. They did not want to damage the vessel too much before the ritual. Vessel? Hana frowned. Is that what they called you? Tay nodded. I am the vessel, the door, the way between. Between what? Between here and the dark place, Tay said simply. That is why I was chosen. Others like me cannot hear the voices from the dark place. I can. Hana's scientific mind raced with questions, but she focused on the immediate concern. How long were you down there? 7 cycles of the small moon. Based on their research, that meant nearly 3 weeks. Hana felt anger rise inside her. And they just left you there? Alone? The chosen one must be pure, alone, empty. Tay's tendrils drooped. So the darkness can fill the vessel. The shuttle docked with the research vessel 20 minutes later. Dr. Lee was waiting in the bay, his face a mask of professional anger. Behind him stood Dr. June, the team's medical officer, looking concerned. "Commander Park, you are relieved of duty pending—" "Save it," Hana interrupted, carrying Tay from the shuttle. "She needs medical attention. Then we can discuss protocols." "Doctor." June stepped forward, medical scanner already in hand. His eyes widened as he took in the alien child. "Bring her to medical bay," he said, professional interest overriding any objection to her presence. In the medical bay, Tay lay quietly on the examination table as Dr. June ran his scanner over her. Hana stayed close, offering reassuring smiles whenever the girl looked her way. "Remarkable," Dr. June muttered. "Her neural patterns are unlike anything in our Vraxian database. The activity in what we believe is their telepathic center is off the charts. She said she can hear voices from somewhere she called the dark place," Hana explained. "The Vraxians left her as some kind of vessel or gateway." Dr. Lee had followed them and stood by the door, his expression softening slightly as he watched the frightened child. "Commander," he said quietly, "you know we'll have to report this. The Vraxians have rejected all diplomatic contact for 2 centuries. This could be seen as kidnapping." "They abandoned her to die," Hana replied firmly. Suddenly, Tay sat up, her tendrils fully extended and quivering. "They come," she whispered, her voice filled with fear. The ship's alarm began to wail. Dr. Lee's communicator beeped urgently. "Sir," came a voice from the bridge. "We've detected multiple Vraxian vessels approaching. They're demanding we return something called the chosen vessel immediately." Tay looked at Hana with wide, frightened eyes. "Please," she said, her small hand reaching out. "Do not send me back to the darkness." Hana took the girl's hand and squeezed it gently. "No one is sending you anywhere," she promised. "We'll figure this out together." Dr. Lee sighed heavily. "I hope you know what you're doing, Commander," he said, turning to respond to the bridge. "Because it seems we've just started an interspecies incident." The conference room of the research vessel hummed with tense voices. Dr. Lee stood at the front, facing the large screen where 3 Vraxian elders glared back. Their blue skin was darker than Tay's, and the tendrils on their heads were longer, moving slowly like underwater plants. "The vessel must be returned," said the middle elder, his voice deep through the translator. "This is not a request. It is necessary for the survival of all." "She is a child, not a vessel," Hana argued, standing beside Dr. Lee. "And she was abandoned, in a temple." "The ritual requires solitude," said another elder, her tendrils twisting in what seemed like anger. "You have interfered with sacred practices that keep the darkness at bay." Dr. Lee tried to sound diplomatic. "Perhaps we could discuss this ritual. Our mission is to learn about Vraxian culture." "Maybe we could. There is nothing to discuss," interrupted the third elder. "Return the vessel within 1 rotation of our planet or face consequences." The screen went black. Dr. Lee turned to Hana with a heavy sigh. "Well, that went poorly. 1 rotation gives us about 30 hours to decide what to do." Hana crossed her arms. "There's nothing to decide. We're not giving her back." "Commander Park, this is bigger than 1 child. We're talking about potential conflict with an entire civilization." "A civilization that sacrifices children," Hana reminded him. Dr. June entered the conference room, tablet in hand. "You both need to see this," he said, placing the tablet on the table. "These are Tay's latest scans compared to our existing data on Vraxian biology." The images showed brightly colored brain patterns, with Tay's showing intense activity in areas that were dark in normal Vraxian scans. "Her neural structure is significantly different," Dr. June explained. "These areas seem to process information from outside normal spacetime." "Meaning what?" asked Dr. Lee. "Meaning she might actually be able to perceive things other Vraxians can't," Dr. June said. "Things from other dimensions." Hana remembered Tay's words. The dark place. In the medical bay, Tai sat huddled on her bed, watching the stars through a small window. She hadn't spoken since the call with the elders. Food sat untouched beside her. Hana entered quietly and sat on the edge of the bed. For several minutes, neither spoke. The elders contacted us, Hana said finally. They want you to go back. Tay's tendrils curled tightly against her head. To complete the feeding. What feeding? What exactly happens in this ritual, Tay? The young Vraxian turned to look at Hana, her purple eyes reflecting the starlight. The darkness hungry, always hungry. It feeds through the door. I am the door. She touched her chest. It feeds here, then feeds on all. Hana tried to understand. This darkness, it's some kind of entity? Tay nodded slowly. Very old, bigger than worlds. It sleeps between stars until feeding time. And your people sacrifice children to it? Only special ones. Only those who hear its voice. Tay's tendrils trembled. I was proud when chosen. Then I heard its true voice. Not what elders taught. Different. Hungry. Hana moved closer. You can hear it now? Tay nodded again. Always. Calling. Wanting. She looked at Hana with sudden intensity. But since you came, something different. When you near, its voice. Quieter. Hana wasn't sure what to make of that. She reached out slowly and took Tay's small hand. I won't let anything hurt you. Promise? Tay asked, squeezing Hana's hand. Promise. Over the next few days, Hana spent all her time with Tay. The Vraxian ships remained at a distance, waiting. Dr. Lee prepared evacuation plans in case they attacked, but so far they had only sent messages demanding Tay's return. Slowly, Tay began to trust Hana more. She started eating regular meals and even showed interest in human games. Her favorite was a simple memory card game that Hana taught her. Your mind is different, Tay said one day as they played. Bright, warm. Different from what? Hana asked, flipping over a card with a star on it. From others. From my kind. Tay found the matching star card immediately, without seeming to guess. They fear. Always fear. You. Curious. Not afraid. Hana smiled. Well, I am a bit afraid. But being afraid doesn't mean you stop trying to understand. That night, Hana woke to alarms blaring. She rushed to Tay's room but found it empty. Panic gripped her as she ran through the corridors. She found Tay in the observation deck standing before the large viewport. Outside, strange lights danced among the stars, moving in patterns that hurt the eyes. Tay, what's happening? It comes, Tay whispered, her tendrils fully extended, vibrating with energy. The darkness found me. Through the viewport, the space between stars seemed to bend. A vast shadow moved there, not visible directly but noticeable by how it distorted the light around it. What is that thing? Hana asked, moving to stand beside Tay. Very old. Very hungry. Tay turned to look at Hana, her eyes glowing slightly. Elders wrong, not God, just hungry thing from other place. Dr. Lee and several security officers burst into the observation deck, weapons ready. Commander, get away from her, Dr. Lee shouted. Our sensors are detecting massive energy readings centered on the girl. No. Hana moved protectively in front of Tay. She's not causing this. She's perceiving it. The lights outside grew brighter, and the shadow between stars seemed to reach toward their ship. The vessel trembled. It wants me, Tay said calmly, stepping around Hana. Always wanted me. We're not giving you to it, Hana insisted, reaching for her. But Tay took Hana's hand first, and a strange calm washed over the commander. Somehow she could feel what Tay felt. Not fear, but understanding. Not give, Tay said, her voice stronger than before. Talk, I can talk to it. No one tried before, just feed it. Maybe it listens. Tay turned back to the viewport and raised her free hand toward the distortion in space. Her tendrils glowed with soft blue light. What's she doing? Doctor, Lee whispered, lowering his weapon slightly. Hana squeezed Tay's hand. Building trust, she answered, just like we did. The ship shook violently as the darkness outside pressed closer. Warning lights flashed red throughout the observation deck. Crew members held onto railings to keep their balance. Tay stood calmly. Before the viewport, her small blue hand still raised toward the strange distortion in space. Her tendrils glowed brighter now, casting blue light across the deck. Beside her, Hana maintained her grip on the child's other hand, feeling strange energies flow between them. "Commander, we need to evacuate now," Dr. Lee shouted over the alarms. "That thing is tearing space apart around us." "Not yet," Hana called back, trusting the strange calm she felt through her connection with Tai. "She's communicating with it." Through their linked hands, Hana sensed fragments of the exchange. Not words, but feelings, images, concepts too strange for human minds. The creature beyond was ancient, confused, hungry in a way that had nothing to do with food. "What does it want?" Hana asked quietly. Tay's voice seemed to come from far away. "To understand. To know. It feeds on knowledge, experience. For thousands of years, my people gave it fear and pain. That is all it knows of us." A new alarm sounded. On the bridge view screen, they could see the Vraxian ships moving closer, weapon systems activating. "Sir," called the communications officer, "the Vraxian elders are demanding we hand over the girl immediately. They say they'll open fire in 5 minutes. Dr. Lee looked desperately between the approaching ships and the cosmic distortion reaching for their vessel. "We're caught between 2 threats. 3 ships approaching from the far side of the planet," reported another officer. "More Vraxians." Tay suddenly turned to Hana, her purple eyes wide. "Not elders. Different Vraxians. Hear them." The communication panel beeped, and a new Vraxian face appeared on screen. This one was younger, with shorter tendrils and kinder eyes. "Research. Vessel, this is Ban of the Progressive Council. We offer assistance against the elder ships. The child must not be sacrificed." Dr. Lee stepped forward. "You oppose the ritual?" "Many of us have questioned the old ways," Ban replied. "Many children have been lost. We believe there is another path." The ship shook again as the darkness pressed closer. Tay's tendrils glowed even brighter, and Hana felt a surge of energy through their connection. "It's listening," Tay whispered. "First time, it listens." The elder ships fired warning shots that flashed past the research vessel. The progressive Vraxian ships moved to intercept, placing themselves between the elders and the humans. "We don't have much time," Ban warned. "The elders will not stop." Tay turned back to the viewport. "Need to show it. Different way. Not fear. Not pain." She looked up at Hana. "Need help. Your memories. Your feelings." Hana nodded, not fully understanding, but trusting Tay completely. "What do I do? Think. Remember. Happy times. Connection." Tay squeezed her hand tighter. "Feed it good things." Hana closed her eyes and focused on her happiest memories. Her graduation from the Space Academy. The first time she saw Earth from orbit. The feeling of wonder when she discovered a new species, of plant on her first mission. The joy of connection when she helped others. Love, friendship, discovery. She felt Tay drawing these memories from her mind and projecting them outward toward the darkness. Through their link, she could sense the entity's confusion, then curiosity, then something like wonder. The ship stopped shaking. Outside, the darkness began to change. Instead of distorting space in a threatening way, it now formed patterns of light and shadow that seemed almost beautiful. Colors no human had ever seen before danced among the stars. "It understands," Tay said, her voice stronger. "First time in many thousands of years. Not hunger for pain. Hunger for connection." The comm system crackled with angry voices as the elder ships prepared to attack both the humans and the progressive Vraxians. Their weapons powered up, targeting systems locking on. "They fire soon," Ban warned. "We cannot stop all their weapons." Tay turned toward the Vraxian elder ships, her face set with new determination. They must see, must understand. She raised both hands now, releasing Hana's. The darkness responded immediately, flowing around Tay like water. It extended toward the elder ships not as an attack but as a reaching out. "What is she doing?" Dr. Lee asked, watching in amazement. "Showing them the truth," Hana replied, somehow knowing this was right. "Showing them what the darkness really is." The elder ships suddenly stopped their approach. On the communication screen, they could see the elder Vraxians clutching their heads, their tendrils vibrating wildly as new understanding flooded their minds. "The cycle ends," Tay announced, her voice echoing strangely. "No more fear, no more sacrifices." The darkness surrounding Tay formed into a shape almost like a hand, reaching toward her but not touching. There was communication happening that none of the others could understand. After several minutes, the darkness began to withdraw, not back to the distortion it came from, but spreading thinly across the stars, becoming nearly invisible. "It goes to learn," Tay explained, her glow fading as she suddenly looked exhausted. "To watch, to understand more, not through pain, through observation." The elder ships powered down their weapons. The lead elder appeared on screen, looking shaken. "The vessel," he began, then corrected himself. "The child has shown us truth. After thousands of years we understand. The ancient texts were translated wrong. It never wanted sacrifice. It wanted connection." Ban's ship moved closer. "Then, the rituals end today." The elder nodded slowly. "Yes, they end." He looked at Tay with new respect. "You have freed us all, child." Tay swayed on her feet, suddenly looking very small and tired. Hana caught her before she could fall. "Did I do good?" Tay asked sleepily. Hana held her close. "You did amazing." 6 months later, Hana stood on the observation platform overlooking the newly built Peace Center. The structure combined elements of human and Vraxian architecture, clean metal lines meeting organic stone curves. Crystal spires reached toward the sky, catching the light of Naraxis's 3 suns and breaking it into rainbow patterns across the bluegrass. "Quite a change from the temple ruins," said Dr. Lee, now promoted to Director of Interspecies Relations. He looked different these days, more relaxed, the constant worry lines on his forehead finally fading. "Hard to believe it's only been half a year," Hana replied, watching Vraxian and human workers putting final touches on the garden paths below. The once forbidden planet had transformed into the center of a new alliance. After the confrontation with the darkness, the Vraxian society had split. The old elders stepped down, allowing the Progressive Council led by Ban to form a new government. Their first act was to reach out to Earth with an official request for diplomatic relations. "The ambassador is ready for the ceremony," said a young human aide, approaching with a tablet. "Everyone is gathering in the main hall." Hana nodded. "I'll be right there." She took one last look at the view before making her way down to the main hall. The vast circular room was filled with representatives from both worlds, humans in their formal uniforms, Vraxians in their traditional flowing robes. At the center stood a small platform where Ban waited patiently. As Hana entered, all eyes turned to her. She nodded politely to the crowd and made her way to a side door. She knocked softly. "Ready?" she asked. The door opened and Tay stepped out. No longer the frightened child from the temple, she stood taller now. Her blue skin glowed with health, and her tendrils, grown longer, were decorated with small crystal beads that caught the light. She wore a special robe, half in the human style, half Vraxian. "Nervous?" Hana asked quietly as they walked toward the platform. Tay smiled. "A little, but good nervous." At age 11, by Earth counting, Tay was about to become the youngest ambassador in human or Vraxian history. After the incident with the darkness, her unique abilities had proven invaluable. She could sense the entity that the Vraxians now called the Watcher as it moved through space, learning and observing. More importantly, she could explain its nature to others in ways they could understand. Ban stepped forward as they reached the platform. "Today marks a new chapter for both our peoples," he announced, his voice carrying through the hall. For too long, we Vraxians isolated ourselves, trapped in old fears and misunderstandings. Through the courage of one child, we found a better path. Hana squeezed Tay's hand encouragingly as Bond continued his speech about unity and understanding. She remembered the long negotiations that had followed the confrontation in space. The older Vraxian elders had been reluctant to change thousands of years of tradition, but the evidence was undeniable. The darkness, the Watcher, had never wanted sacrifices. It had only wanted to learn, to experience, to understand. And now, Ban said, concluding his speech, I present our ambassador to Earth and all human worlds, Tay Park, Bridge Between Stars. The crowd applauded as Tay stepped forward. She had taken Hana's family name when the adoption became official, 3 months ago. The process had required new laws on both planets, but neither side had objected too strongly. After all, Tay was unique, the first of her kind to live among humans, just as Hana was the first human to raise a Vraxian child. Thank you, Tay began, her voice clear and confident. I stand before you as proof that different worlds can come together. Different minds can understand each other. Different hearts can care for one another. As Tay delivered her carefully prepared speech, Hana felt a familiar presence brush against her mind. Over the months, she had grown accustomed to Tay's occasional telepathic touches, the girl's way of sharing feelings too complex for words. Thank you for finding me, came the gentle thought. Hana smiled. Thank you for changing everything. After the ceremony, they walked together through the garden paths. The Peace Center would soon be filled with scientists, diplomats, and students from both worlds, all working to build understanding between their species. Dr. Min says 3 more children, like me, have been found, Tay said as they watched the sunset. Not exactly the same, but with abilities the old ones would have used for sacrifice. And now? Hana asked. Now they will come here to learn, Tay replied. To understand their gifts, to help us talk to the Watcher and learn what it knows. Hana looked up at the darkening sky. Somewhere out there, the ancient entity was watching, learning, growing in its understanding of life. Do you think there are others out there? She asked. Other beings like the Watcher? Tay nodded. Many, different, some good, some not. But now we face them together. A shooting star streaked across the sky. Once Vraxians would have seen it as an omen of the darkness coming to feed. Now it was just a beautiful light in the night, a reminder of how vast and wonderful the universe could be. Ready for tomorrow? Hana asked. The first official delegation from Earth would arrive in the morning. Scientists, diplomats, and one very special guest, Hana's mother, coming to meet her adopted granddaughter for the first time. Ready, Tay confirmed, her tendrils glowing softly with happiness. New beginnings are always good. As night fell completely, lights came on throughout the Peace Center, creating a beacon visible for miles across the plains of Naraxis. Where once stood a temple of fear and sacrifice, now stood a monument to understanding and hope, all because one human couldn't leave a child in darkness. Tay took Hana's hand as they turned to walk back to their quarters. Above them, the stars seemed to twinkle just a bit more brightly than before.